Good afternoon and welcome to DGS and Project Team. If I can get someone to do me a favor and just send me a question or a comment and let me know if you can hear me and see my screen. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, again, today we're going to be covering the general contractor processes in Project Team. Got quite a bit to go through within an hour, but we are recording this session and it will be posted to the ProjectTeam.com/DGS page, and I'll show you that in just a second. I'm Susan Mills, and I work for Project Team. I'm in the Professional Services Department in Education and Implementation, and you're going to hear my voice a lot over the next couple of months. Today, we're going to work through all the forms that you guys will use to enter into Project Team to make sure that you can submit your payment applications, etc. I'll show you where those are. We actually host a class that focuses solely on how to submit your payment application, how to submit potential change orders, but I'll show you today where you can find those. Now, this is really important. If you require a user account and project access to Project Team, for vendors, you need to reach out to your DGS project manager. I know a lot of the projects are being created as we speak, so they will be inviting you, and I'll show you how to work the invitation in just a moment. DGS employees are required to send an email to dgs.projectteam@dc.gov. Once you become a user, that's once you've been given your user account and once you've been given a project and you've logged in. If you need support that's beyond what the QRGs, the quick reference guides or the videos do, reach out to our support team at support@projectteam.com. We have a fabulous group of folks who are really excited about adding you to our Project Team family, and they'd love to help you. If you are a vendor and you want to use Project Team on other projects, reach out to us at sales@projectteam.com. We'd love to talk to you. So when you ask your DGS project manager, when they add you to a project, you're going to get an invitation and it's going to look exactly like this. It will have our Project Team logo on it, and it's going to be an invitation letting you know that you've been set up as a new user. It's really important. You have 24 hours to finish creating your account before it expires. But I'm going to show you how to fix that just in case you were out of the office and you didn't see it in time. But once you get it, you'll click the Finish Your Account button, and it's going to bring you to a Finish Your Account screen. All you have to enter is your first and last name and enter your password. You can click Show Password, and it'll show you as you're typing it, just so you can make sure that it's correct. Make sure that you follow the password the password requirement, so that way you're entering the password requirements as needed. One letter, one capital letter, one special character, and it has to be at least 8 characters long. When you've entered this data, just click the Sign Up button, and it's going to bring you to the login screen. But before I go there, if you lose your password or if your invitation expires and you receive this invalid token error when you try to log in, just go ahead and open the Project Team login screen and click Forgot Your Password. You'll enter your company email address. Now, this is important because your user ID is tied to your company email address. It's not tied to a personal email address, and you can't share invitations. Like if I send John Smith an invitation, if I'm the project manager from DGS, and I invite John Smith and he decides he wants to invite his boss, it doesn't work that way. You'll have to invite him from Project Team or ask the DGS project manager to invite him because your invitation is specific only to you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into Project Team. But before we go there, I want to show you the DGS site. This is really important for you guys because everything I'm teaching you is outlined in what we call our QRGs. These are quick reference guides, and they're detailed step-by-step that guide you through not only the steps you need to take, but the DGS standard operating procedures, what they expect you to put in, how to title certain things. They're making sure that, documents get specific titles so that way they read correctly in reports, and they're easy for people to find if everybody is standardized. So to view the QRGs, you'll click Visit QRG page. I would just go ahead and make sure that I just made this a shortcut on my desktop, I just drag the URL and put it on my browser bar, or I can put it on my desktop to quickly link to. But general use, that's everybody. You can download any of these. You click on like basic use and navigation. It's going to open up a QRG. You can download it, or you can print it to PDF. You can download it and save it. So this breaks down everything that we go through. As you can see, if you scroll down a little bit further, you've got general contractor vendors. Everything we're going to try and talk about today is right here, right? Some things, I've also, you'll be able to review the QRGs if we go through it pretty quickly. Definitely look at those QRGs because they'll walk you through. We also have training videos that we're adding. This is brief snippets. If you've got a new user on your project team that, they need to get up to speed really quickly and we're not offering any training classes, they can come in here and watch these videos, right? The DGS training videos, these are the full videos of the training classes that I'm hosting. So all you have to do is just click on those and watch the video. But here, if you've got a new user that's coming in and you need to get them trained up quickly, bring them to the site and have them go through these videos. And you guys, I don't have to tell you how to sign up for training. You've already done that, but you can visit the calendar page to see what classes we're offering. Now, when you get your username and password and you've logged in, let's say you come back the first time, you're going to put in ProjectTeam.com. It's going to bring you to our Project Team homepage. And this tells you all kinds of great information. You can scroll down and also see some videos, just a brief stuff. But you can click the login button right up here in the top right. And the login allows you to go ahead and see my page. Or it's going to be your page, but we call it my page, right? Lets me see everything that's happening on every single project that I have access to. I can see that Deb went ahead in the Project Team support portal and she updated a report document. If I wanted to open that project, I could simply click here and it opens the project, or I can open the document that was created within the project. Excuse me. If I want to filter on a project, I just filter, find the project name, and I'm right there. So the project we're going to be working out of today is CPO. So I don't have to go to the projects and find it. I can just click on the link and go straight to the project. All the workflows and action items are kept right here. And you can also see them at any point in time from any project within the buttons at the very top. To get back to my page, I just click my name and click my page. I can view help pages here. I can email support, and we love to hear your feedback. So make sure that you provide feedback on how much you love the product, because I know you're going to. Edit your profile by clicking Edit Profile, add a new photo, add your signature, and make sure that you update this information. The reason why is this is great information for your users to have, or your project team members to have, so that way y'all know how to get in touch with each other. One of the things that's really important is that you guys all need to make sure that you update your email notifications. You can change your password if you feel like the password, somebody else has your password and you want to change it. You can change it yourself right here. You don't have to wait on us to do that. You can update your email notifications. Now, this is critical, okay, because DGS has decided that they're going to really utilize the collaboration functionality in this product, and it's great, really simple. It's we have what we call comments, and we have new shares where you can share the documents with your team members. You can comment right on the document. So it takes out that necessity to constantly have emails going on outside of outside of Project Team. It puts everything where it needs to be. So one of the things that you want to do is you select your project and click Edit. Go ahead and choose New Shares and Comments Made. Action items and workflows are automatically selected by default. You don't want to uncheck those. When you get done, you should have 4 check marks. You can add field changes if you like, but you're going to get a lot of emails, so I don't typically save that one. Click Save, scroll down to the bottom, and click Close. Now, if you ever want to see, as you can see, I have 2 workflow items, but they don't fall under any of the breakdown. So I'm going to go ahead and click Overdue, and I can see that I've got workflow items here. If I have anything that's workflowed to me, I can click on the link and it takes me to the document. Now I'm going to go into Action items. Action items can be assigned to you by anybody that's on the project. What they are is they're a to-do list. You can assign action items to other people, and you can assign them to yourself. I love the functionality because if I need to remember to do something, I simply come up here and do new. Depending on what project it is, let's say that I need to put it into the internal training project and I need to remind myself to do something. I don't have to assign it to a document. I can, but in this case, I'm not going to, and I can click next. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to myself, and then I'll give myself a due date, so that way I have a reminder, and I'm just going to click save. But I can assign it to anybody else that's on my project team, right? So if I need to remind somebody or I need to ask the PM to do something, I might need them to supply documentation or I might need them to check out this RFI. I can do that. So action items are great. You can see assigned by me, assigned to me, assigned by me, and all action items. Those are action items that are assigned by you to you and you were included on the share. So somebody might want you to know that they've assigned an action item to somebody. You can print the action items by clicking print, and it will print whichever one of the tabs you have selected. I'm going to go ahead and go into my projects. The project I'm going to be working out of today is CPO training. If I had a large list of projects and I wanted to search for it, I could just begin typing the name. Your project list will probably, if you're working on DGS and you have a lot of projects, it might get a little unwieldy if, you've got closed projects and open projects on it. So what you do to clean that list up is you click this 3 ellipses and click the Configure Project menu. And you uncheck the projects you do not want to show up. So if I uncheck everything but the CPO training and DGS implementation, I click save, I look back at my projects, and those are the only 2 in the list, which makes it a lot easier to find things. I'm just going to click the project name. Favorite form types, great way to get everything up there that you need so you're not having to go in search of everything. To do that, just like with the projects, you're going to click, edit here, and then you select the forms that you want to show up. Just choose whatever it is that you want to put there and click save. Uncheck anything you don't want to, and you can change this out through the life cycle of the project. You're not limited to what you chose originally. Now, a couple of things I need to tell you is the project notifications are project specific. You will have to do those for each project. Favorite form types are project specific. The reason why we did that is through each phase of the project, it might be, each phase might be different at what you're looking at. You could be looking at your budget stuff at the beginning, and midway through you're managing most of your document control or field control documentation. So you can change this at any time. Underneath is the recently created forms. You can go ahead. These are the most recent ones that you've been working on or somebody has shared with you. It shows shared on my access. It shows the subject, the form type, the email, etc. We go into emails in our introduction class, so I'm not going to bother you on that today. Those you can also find. There's a video on our DGS.com, our ProjectTeam.com/DGS page. So first thing we're going to start with today is let's go ahead and we're going to talk about meeting minutes. Meeting minutes, I've got these added to my favorite form types. If I don't, I can search for them real quickly by clicking forms and begin typing the word meeting. This is my meeting minute register. Okay, these are all the meeting minutes that I've created or I've been invited to, that I have access to. I can see that I have 2 of the design review, 3 of the weekly CM meeting. If I want to show simply the latest meetings only, just to keep it clean, I can do that. Shows the meeting series name, and that's how they're broken down. If I need to search for something, I can start typing the word, and I can see that, it'll populate with the items that return whatever my search criteria was. To create a new meeting in a brand new set, I'm going to click New. So if this set isn't there, I can go ahead and this one's going to be my punch list meeting. Okay, so I'm going to have a weekly punch list review because we're, getting near the end of the project, and I want to make sure that everything is taken care of. I'm going to select a date for starting. I'm going to do it on Fridays, and I think I'll do it at 4 o'clock on Friday. That should make me very popular. So I'm going to go ahead and do the scheduled duration, and it should last an hour, no more than that. The location is where I'm going to host a meeting, so this will be at the job site trailer. And this, I'm preparing the meeting agenda, which will be used as my meeting minutes as well. Okay, I'm going to put my purpose. Now, I did have somebody ask me, okay, in today's, with the current situation of COVID-19, what happens if we're hosting all our meetings virtually? Well, if that's the case, then on the location, you put virtual meeting, and then you can copy and paste your WebEx information in here. That way, everybody always has that. They can just come right to the meeting minutes and click the link. I want to add the people that I plan to invite, so I'm going to go ahead and add a few people. Click Add New. If everybody is updated, they're my profile. The phone number and everything will populate for me, so that makes it really easy. I'm going to add one more, just because I want him to get a notification today, and I'll click Add. Now, you'll see that I'm not updating the attendance because this is my agenda, right? I'll use it when I take my meeting minutes in a few minutes. I'm going to add some topics. We're going to have general discussion, and then we'll have open punch list items. I click Add. Only need 2 items. If I wanted to reorder these, I could go ahead and click Reorder, and using the crosshair pointer, I just move it in the order that I want to put it in. You can do the same thing if you have a lot of meeting item topics too. So I finished my meeting agenda, and I'm ready to share it. So I'll click Save and Share, and I'm going to share it with a share group, or I can go down and right now just share it with the people that, individuals that I've invited. And I could create a share group for that invitation as well. So I'll click Share. When I share it, it comes in and I can see everybody that was in my share group. Even though I'm only inviting John, Wayne, Brian, I can still invite other people to view the meeting minutes, even though they're not invited to come to the meeting, right? So a week or so goes by, or whenever we're going to host a meeting, I'm going to log in, I'm going to open my meeting register, and I'm going to scroll down, and I can go ahead and search for it real quickly by just typing a portion of the name, and I'll click the meeting agenda to open it. To take the meeting minutes, I'm going to click Edit, but before I do that, I'm just going to quickly go through the panels. Shared With allows me to see everybody I've invited and to see if they've even viewed the document by rolling over their picture. Action Items allows me to assign action items outside of when in meeting minutes, it's a little bit different because you're assigning items within the topics. But if you have somebody that's not on the topics and you need to ask them for something, you can assign an action item. Comments allows people to have communication on the document. So let's say, for instance, I assign something to John Bunch, and John is going to be on vacation, but before the next meeting rolls around. John can come in here and he can put a comment in, hey, I took care of such and such item. This was complete on this date. I've attached documentation for you to see it. He can put this in here so the next meeting that rolls around, I can go ahead and close out that item if he's not available to attend the meeting. Reference links allow me to reference certain items. So this is my punch list meeting. I'm going to go ahead and click New. I'll click Add as Existing. I'll type in punch list, and I'm going to reference my punch list items here. That way, when I'm hosting the meeting and we're talking about things, if people want to quickly go right straight to that punch list item, they can look at it, and that way they can report on it accurately. On the bottom, and every single document in ProjectTeam has these same panels. Very, very consistent, and it gives you everything you need right there. Some documents require workflows, and we talk about those as we go through those documents. This particular one does not. Attachments allow you to drag and drop attachments, or you can upload You can drag and drop, or you can attach from the files area. If you've already uploaded the document somewhere else, you just click Form Attachments, locate that document, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up one that I know that I have. It's Request for Information, and I'm going to go ahead and add the flange chart. Click Attachment. So even if I've uploaded a document somewhere else, the system holds that document where I can still go access it. So I don't have to go back out to my desktop and, search for it. Great way to keep organized. Okay, so it's time for the meeting. I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to do Roll Call. So I'll scroll down, and I'm going to click the little drop-down box beside John's name. He's the first in the list. And I'm going to say, yes, he attended, and I'll go next, and I'll bring John Harmon. John couldn't attend today. And then I'll click next, and Wayne attended by phone. And then Brian, he didn't attend either. So I'm going to go ahead and update and close. It updates all the people on my list very, very quickly. Let's say that Deb Rakes decided she wanted to join. She's brand new to the project, so I'm going to go ahead and I can add her on the fly. And I'll go ahead and say, yes, she did attend. So the next thing I want to do is, okay, we've done our attendance. It's now time to add our meeting items. So I'm going to talk about the conference room electrical outlets. And this is assigned to John Bunch. The due date is, we're going to give him until next Friday, and this is a real high priority. And this can be replace all. I need the status on the punch list item to replace all electrical outlets. We've already created the punch list, but I want John, because this has been hanging out there, to get a report and get back to us on this. So I've assigned John this item. As you can see, I can type inside here once I do that if I need to change things. I can change the priority and I can change the status. So I've got information here. If I want to add additional items, I just click New Meeting Items, and I do that in each one of the different areas. When I'm finished, I'm just going to click Save. And if I need to share it with anybody else, I can click Save and Share, or I can click Share here. So meetings are done. This meeting is done for this week. Time to host the next week's meeting. So I'm going to click Punch List Meeting, and I'll click Create Next in the series. It's going to bring over everything for me. All the open items will come over. If I've closed an item, it does not come over into this meeting. So if I want to be able to see it and update it, or still talk about it, I'm going to leave it as open. So I'm going to click Yes. And the only thing you have to update here for just the body of the meeting is you have to update the new date and time. Okay. So let's say that John has completed this item. I'm going to go ahead and click inside and select Closed. And okay, so this item is done and it's closed, and I'll click Save. And I can continue to add meeting items. I can remove I can update them as I'm going along. It's very, very easy to manage your meetings in here within the meeting. Now, you'll notice that when I save this, when I come down to this item that John has, right, I could come in and I could link it to the punch list item, which is great because it makes it really easy. I'll click Add. I'm going to select the punch list record and click Add there and close. So now I can see I have one punch list item. I can link right there, click it open just to see it. Now this is on this meeting. When I go to create another meeting, since it's closed, it's not going to show up. If I want to review it, I have to go back to the meetings that it appears on. Okay, before I move on, how's everybody on meeting minutes? Anybody have any questions? Okay, let's go over RFIs, request for information. Now, request for information, you will have a workflow that you have to do on RFIs. So I want to make sure that we go over this one. This document is typically created by vendors. There are two structured workflows for this document, and the RFI creator is responsible for initiating the proper workflow to submit the question to the relevant responder. The question's not going to get answered unless you kick off the workflow, right? So let me show you how to do that. Search for RFIs. When you come in, this is your RFI log. You will see all the RFIs you've created and have been shared with you. If you're sitting in a meeting and somebody brings up the fact RFI number 62, and you look through your RFI log and you say, I don't have an RFI 62, that's because they haven't shared it with you yet. So you need to reach out to them. You can create one of those action items if you want to. Say, hey, I need access to RFI number 62 in this project. Make use of those action items because that goes on their radar and they have to remove it in order to get it to close out. So if I want to create a new RFI, I'm going to click New. I'll enter the date. I'm going to select Get Next because what this is going to do is it's going to automatically number the RFI in a sequential order. You want to enter the name of the company that's submitting the RFI. And if you have an author RFI, if you want to put your company RFI number in here, this is the field where you'll do this. You're going to enter the RFI due date, and this RFI response duration can be found in your contract. So if it's 2 weeks from the date of submission, go ahead and select that. Enter a brief description or a title. Okay. I can go ahead and select my discipline by selecting the drop-down. Assign drawings, so you can go ahead and select any drawings that apply to it. You want to enter the column lines. Add specifications. Same thing, you can click the Add button and just go ahead and select any specifications that apply. If there's going to be a cost impact or schedule impact, go ahead and add this information. So if, waiting on the metal is going to cost additional money, if they want something else, it depends on, what they're asking for. It could have a cost impact. And if there's a suggested answer, if you have if there's an inclusion or exclusion or alternate, and kind of had an idea what it's going to be, you can put a suggestion in there. So what you're going to do at this point is you will save and share this document. So you're going to save and share it with the appropriate group and click share, right? Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to add any supporting documentation or any references. If you need to reference a part on the contract or the specifications that show that, hey, this doesn't show what I need, I'm going to need additional information. You can do that as well. Reference anything within the documents that you can, but if you need to attach something, you can attach that as well. What you're going to do at this point, once you're ready for it to go and for it to be answered, you will scroll down to the workflow and click Start New. Now you have two options. You can request information to the AE or you can send it to the DGS PM. So in this case, I'll send it to the DGS PM and I'll start the workflow. If I click here on this caret, it tells me the history of what's going on. Right now I know it's pending because the project manager hasn't picked it up. They'll get a notification and they're going to come in and respond to your RFI. Good question. Who uploads the drawings and the specifications? I believe that's going to be the architect and the engineer for the project. But I understand from John Harmon, sometimes the DGS PM will upload those. So I'm not really too sure. That's a good question to ask John Harmon or your DGS PM. Okay, so let's say that you get a response, right? They come in, they respond, you get an answer to your RFI, and you need more information. You're not going to close it until you get a little bit more clarification. Utilize the comment section. You can go ahead, ask questions, utilize this area, because whoever is going to be asking questions or putting comments in here, like I said, this becomes a matter of record, right? I mean, so utilize this, because that way you're getting answers to your questions. Once you get an answer, okay, and you're ready, you believe this answer has, is done, you're ready to go ahead and close this out. They do want you to close them out as soon as you can, so they're not sitting there. Go ahead and click the closed and click save. That way it'll show up on the RFI register, and I'm going to talk about that for just a second. So my RFI register, I have a lot of items checked. When it first comes in, you're going to get a subject, you'll get a date created and edit button. To me, an RFI log isn't an RFI log unless I can glance at it and see everything that I need to see. You can come in and check. I'll show you how I did that again. Click the three ellipses, click configure log, and check the boxes for the fields you want to see. Now, I get a little bit crazy with mine because I like a lot of information. So sometimes I have way too much information, but the nice thing about it is I can actually go ahead and check all these, and I'll show you how it looks really busy. You can see I've got a lot of information here, right? If I print it, I can see this information and it looks great, right? I can go ahead and print this. I can save it as PDF. I can save it to Google Drive. I can also go ahead and send it to OneNote or PDF. So I have a lot of options. Go ahead and cancel that, and I'll close this. And when I want to return to the project, I can go there. I can search for stuff by using these boxes up at the top. Okay, that allows me to see all of the items that are in the system. Now, just to let you know, when an RFI is, if they decide that they're going to cancel an RFI, if they workflow it back, it's going to be, if they decide to cancel it, typically it's because it's duplicative or something like that. They're going to put no information in there for you, so that way you'll know why they rejected it or they canceled it. All right, so we have done meeting minutes, we have done requests for information. Let's go ahead and let me show you submittals. So same thing, when I'm in a document, it's much easier for me. I can always go back home by clicking the project home button, but to me it's much easier just to click forms and just type a brief bit of information. Submittals, we have submittal items and submittal packages. In order to create a package, you have to have items entered in the system. Now, it's much easier to me to use the batch import utility and batch import my submittal log at one time. To do that, you'll click this button here and do batch import. You'll download your template, and you're going to go ahead and click on this template, and it's an Excel document, a CSV file. You'd put in your subject, and what's really important is you make sure that you have any lookup list, you type them in exactly as they're supposed to be. You'll have to put in a subject, the type, the description, specification, number, revision date. You don't have to put any of these, but these right here, you definitely want to put in the metadata. You'll save this information, and then I'm just going to go ahead and click. I'm going to teach a class on batch importing, I think, here soon for you guys. But you're going to import it. And what's going to happen is it will tell you, hey, it's successful, and it'll import all the documents for you. Makes it super, super easy. So this also has a configure log. You can choose what you want to see in your log. And that way you can see the type, as-built drawings, etc. If you want to open an individual submittal, you just click the link here, and then you can scroll down and see the information, and you can edit it from here, right? So if you've got to go in and put any information in here. Packages are groups of drawings in a package. Very easy to make a package. You click New, and you'll put in the name of the package. Select the specification. It's going to number it for you. It'll be revision 0, the revision date. You can put a description in, and then you'll click Add Existing, and you'll select the submittals that apply. You can select multiples. It's not a problem. And go ahead and click Add. Then you'll save and share with the applicable parties. They're going to come in, put their comments in. You know, they're going to probably talk outside. They'll put their comments in if they're missing something and they need additional information. And eventually they're going to do the review, and they'll put in the reviewer's comments and any action notes. So that pretty much is it on submittals. Are you guys okay on submittals? I know I'm going through this awfully fast. Okay, next thing is vendor schedules. Okay, give me 1 second, and I'm going to pull up my vendor schedule document so I can make sure I give you guys everything you need here. This document is used to capture vendor schedule submissions and schedule update. It is created and submitted by the vendor. So to open one that you've already created, just click the link, and it's going to open the document. To create a new one, click New here, and you're going to go ahead and give it a title, and the title should include the schedule submission name. So let's say this is baseline schedule or baseline May 2020. You're going to go ahead and enter a date for the schedule, and then you'll enter the name of the vendor. Make sure to give it a narrative, and the narrative report is expected to communicate to DGS a thorough analysis of the schedule output and the plans to compensate for any problems, either current or potential, which are revealed through that analysis. And you'll go ahead and save and share it. Okay, so once you've saved and shared it, it's not accepted. But you're going to scroll down to the attachments, and you will drag and drop the schedule in both PDF and XER formats. Include any supporting documentation like reports, impact analysis, etc. Multiple documents can be uploaded at one time, so always make sure that your supporting documents are here. You will workflow this to the DGS PM. So scroll down to the workflow section, click Start New, choose vendor schedule, and start workflow. They're going to get a notification. They're going to come in. They're going to review it. They'll download everything. If it's accepted, they're going to come in here at the top. They'll click Edit. They will come in. Your DGS PM will press Accepted. And then they're going to workflow to accept or reject, right? So they'll take care of that, and you'll have, you'll get notification. Okay, I'm trying to mark out what we've talked about. Okay, we've got transmittals. So transmittals, super easy. Transmittals can be found under the transmittal log. This will be your log. Click New, and all you're going to do is fill out the information, subject, etc. Anywhere you see a grid like this, you're going to click Create New, and you'll fill in the fields. If you need to add additional items in these grids, you click Add New, and you keep adding, and then when you're finished, you click Add. Same thing that you'll do anywhere you see like a red bordered field and required. If you don't have any information in there, it will not allow you to save, but you'll always click Save and share them with individual people or with groups. I feel like I'm really going through this, guys, really fast. My apologies, but we got a lot we got to cover today. Okay, we've got field reports. So field reports are usually generated by the general contractor to document daily work in progress conditions on the job site, and it can be used by other parties to document pertinent information from field or site visits. This is going to be your daily report log. As you can see it, or your field report log, this is what the log looks like for every document when you first open it, or every form, right? Very bland, doesn't have a lot of information. Click this 3 ellipses button, and it's going to remember what you want to see and make this log read as you want it to. You know, it's your log. It doesn't affect any other user, but it's going to give you what you want to see, right? Again, you're going to click the new button, just like you would with any other document, very consistent all the way across. You're going to select the role of the person that's creating it, and you will fill out all of these fields. Weather conditions, you'll click Create New and enter the information. Now, I will tell you a cheat on this to make your life easier. I mean, because we're in the South, you know, in the South it's just hot and seems to rain a lot, or it's just hot in the summertime. So the only thing that really changes is whether it's just hot or whether it's hot and raining. So, you know, a lot of times you're going to have the same workforce on site. You'll have, you know, the same equipment. So what I do is I'll open my GC report, and I'm going to come over here to the top and I'll clone it. What that does is it creates a copy. So what I need to do is I need to change the date of this. And I need to go in if my temperature is different, you know, if all my information is different, I just update this, right? So I'm updating versus going in and having to add everything individually. They do want these in to include the details. So make sure that you're just not putting just a little bit of information in. They do want you to include the detail. But if you do your detail and then just clone it, you can just make edits where it's necessary. You're going to save and share this report. There is not a workflow on here. But give me a second. I want to make sure, because I'm covering a lot of stuff. I don't want to miss anything I need to tell you about. Could be comments. Watch the comments. You can reference things, like you can, you know, upload pictures. This is a great place. One thing, guys, I don't think I told you is that you can use this on your laptop, your iPad, your tablet, your Android phone, your iPhone. So if you're out in the field, you can pull it up. It works great. As a matter of fact, John was teaching a class earlier, and I was answering him on my phone. So he was assigning things to me, so I was able to use my phone and quickly answer it. It's very, very flexible. Okay, you want to edit. You are always going to open the one you need to edit and click Edit, make any changes you need to make, and then click Save. Pretty simple. Permits. Permits are the same thing. Click the New button, fill in the appropriate information, and let's talk about who is responsible for permits right quick. Permits, this document is going to capture all permits issued for the project. It includes any permit issued by any regulatory or other agency. It's created by the vendor responsible for obtaining the permit, and it should be created when the permit is applied for and edited as the permit process progresses and the permit is issued. Okay, so when you apply for a permit, start this document and then just come back to it and update it. You know, if it's a revision of a permit, you've got lookup lists that you need to select. If it's a revision of a permit, you can do that. Permit applied for, you can come back in and put the permit issue date. They want you guys to upload all supporting documentation to the attachments, because these permits can be linked to other documents. So they want to make sure that all the attachments are there. Okay, we've got inspections. Inspections. Okay, it's used to capture results, comments, and information on any inspections which occur on the job site. These documents are entered by the party which performs the inspection or the vendor responsible for having the inspections performed. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with what I'm teaching you guys, so I know where I might miss something. Okay, same thing. You know, and guys, I can't tell you how easy the software flows because of the fact that it's just great. Everything is the same. You don't have to hunt and find anything. They're all kept in, all the buttons and everything are kept in the same place. So just click that new button and enter in the information within the document. And I'm just trying to see if we've got, you're going to enter in all the information, the inspector, the agency, etc. This is where, remember, I just told you that a permit can be used on a document. So you could add, you know, if you, to link the permit, you just go ahead and click add, and the permit is listed. They have a lot of information, area inspected, etc. So if you've got the permit document, you can copy and paste. Just make sure that you attach all supporting documentation. I can't tell you how much this is going to save you a lot of time, because if they come to you and they ask for something, you got to search for it in your email. It kind of slows you down too. So just get in the habit of attaching the documentation. Material testing. Material testing, same thing. You're just going to click the new button. And this form is utilized by vendors responsible for material testing on a project, and this may be the general contractor or a third party depending on the project. Each material test should be recorded by the responsible party by creating a new material test record. Material tests should be recorded the day that they occur, and copies of any test documents or results should be added to the completed record at the time of creation, or added to the existing record as soon as test results are available if the test does not produce immediate results. So you're going to go through, enter the information in each one of these fields. They're outlined in the QRG, tell you exactly what the field should be. When, you know, if you don't have the test result, you come back and you enter this information once you receive it. Make sure that you definitely scroll down to the attachments. I'm going to make sure there's no workflow in this one. Scroll down to the attachments and upload. Okay, we've got GMP submissions. Okay, so GMP submissions. Okay, so you would click new, and a GMP submission is, it's a submission of the GMP breakdown for GMP projects showing all the vendors, subcontractors, and subconsultants. And this includes bid records of all the bids obtained for each cost line item with contact info and the final proposed cost. It is submitted by the general contractor to the DGS PM. So you'll enter the subject, the date, the vendor company, and the PO number. When you get to create new on the GMP breakdown, you'll select your division, enter a scope item. If an allowance is required, you're going to go ahead and select allowance. If that cost line item will be an allowance, and you're going to enter the bidder information. And now you can enter up to 5 bidders. And if you've got more bidders than 5, you can just create additional lines by clicking Add New. Now, one thing I want to show you, and I'm going to go back to another one to show you how I'll do this, but you'll also add any assumptions, qualifications, inclusions, and exclusions. Okay, so one of the things that you have to do is on this particular document, I'm going to open this one so you can see it. There is an attachment line here. So for any of the bidders that are on the cost line item number 1, you're going to click this little paperclip, and you're going to upload the documents that, you know, should be attached here. So that way their information, their bid information will show up right here. So you're going to upload supporting documentation for each bidder on the lines where they are. So if you have 5 bidders on line 1, you'll upload 5 documents, 1 for each bidder. Okay, as you can see, we have all this outlined here about all the information you should do. There is no workflow on this one, but you are going to save and share this with the DGS project manager. They're going to come in and open it. If they have questions, they'll enter their questions in the comments. If they need to, if you need to submit a revised GMP submission, they're going to send you an action item. Okay. If the submission is acceptable, they're going to go ahead and you can do the same thing, print, merge to template, select the GMP submission and click next. It's going to ask you if you want to include your attachments. You're going to say yes, and then go ahead and print merge. This allows you to go ahead and have the documentation. You can download this, email, etc. Okay, so as you can see, this is the GMP breakdown. This is the attachment that I put here. You can save and download, save and share, or save and email. Now, let's say that they come in and they say, okay, we're not going to approve this one. This is missing information or this is incorrect. We want you to submit a revised GMP submission. Remember when I taught you that sneaky trick a little while ago about cloning it? You are going to do the same thing. You will clone, okay? And then you'll just update the required fields. You're going to make sure you save and share it, and with the appropriate parties, and the review will start all over again. A couple other things I want to show you. If I open this GMP submission and I click this drop down, you'll notice that I have obsolete and delete as well. Well, I can delete it if it's just me that has access to it, because it's a draft, it's a document, in progress, right? Once I share it with somebody, I can't delete it. It's just like me sending an email. If I send an email to John Harmon, John would receive it, and I can't go, oh, you got to delete that. You're not supposed to have it. I could ask him, and he probably would delete it. I know he would. But, some people might not. They keep it. So you can't ask somebody to delete something. What you can do is you can obsolete it and create a new one and not include them, or you could halt them from having access, and I'll show you how to do that. So give access to John Bunch. Oh, John's not supposed to have it. I can see John never viewed it anyway, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click this view all, and I'll select halt. And John is removed, and John can only, if he sees it, he's only going to see the information here. Another thing I can do is just obsolete it and start over. Okay, trying to get through about 15 documents in a matter of minutes, guys. I apologize. Okay, let's go look at, we already talked about contracts, change orders, and all that in the vendor class that we do. Make sure you sign up for the vendor contracts, mods, and pay applications. So we're going to talk about contingency draw request. Okay, so a contingency draw request. This form must be submitted by general contractors to request the use of in-project contingency funds. Funds will not be released without approval of this document by the DGS manager. So guys, if you need to pull from contingency, you have to create one of these. And you're going to enter the subject, the original contract contingency amount, any previous contingency draw request, the remaining contingency balance, and this draw request that you're requesting. Select the division, add a scope of work, and then make sure that you write a justification for the reason why you're asking for this draw request and any applicable notes, okay? What's going to happen, and I'm just going to do this as a test one, you're going to save and share it. I'm just going to save this for the moment. You're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to go ahead, attach any supporting documentation. I'm driving this home because stuff's going to get bumped back if you're not attaching the documentation, right? So select the workflow and start workflow. It is going to notify your PM who is going to come in, and they're going to approve and review it. And if they want to have a discussion, they're going to come in here and have a discussion with you on this. They'll workflow it. They'll come in, they'll get notification, and they'll come in and take action. The only reason I can see it is because I'm in both security fields. But they'll come in and pass it to approve, or reject it with notes. Okay, any question about contingency draws, inspections, material tests, GMP submissions? Okay, I got about 5 minutes, so we're going to do one more, and that's going to be punch list. So I'm going to go to forms, and we'll go to punch list items. Punch list record, click new. You'll enter a date, the subject, who identified it, the date identified, a description. You're going to enter all this information so the person knows what needs to be done. And then you're going to leave, once you do the subcontractor and the scheduled completion date and any notes, you can go ahead and select in progress or completed. You can leave that alone for right now. If you're not ready to update that, you can come back later and update it as you're going along. Once it's completed, you'll put in date completed. You'll sign off on it, the date, and who signed off. Your punch list will allow you, you can get a really nice punch list log, again, by clicking the 3 ellipses and doing configure log. I think I have 1 more minute to do one more. I know I'm pushing it a lot on you guys, but let's do equipment list right quick. Equipment list can be found under forms, and I'll show you one we've got right quick. You guys all know to press new. I don't need to tell you that anymore. But if I click edit, subject, date, and you're going to click create new, and you're going to add in the information. Okay. You'll save it and attach any supporting documentation that you have. All right. I think you guys are all probably groaning. We have 2 more documents. If you want to stay on the phone, we can finish both of them. If you don't mind, it'll take me just a couple of seconds. Buyout records. Okay. Buyout records allow us to, let me go ahead and find my buyout records. You're going to enter the name, the subject, the date, and if you have a PO available, click create new. You'll select division, scope, company, bid amount, the buyout amount, if you've got change orders, the total contract, if it's a CB, and any notes, and you'll click add. And let's just go ahead. We're going to give this one a title. I haven't done this one that much yet, but I'm going to go ahead and save it. And I want to see if there's a workflow on this. There is no workflow, but you'll want to save and share and upload any attachments. One last one, guys. Thank you for being so patient. We have intra-project transfer. All right. This is a request sent by the vendor to DGS to request authorization to transfer funds between approved cost lines. So you guys know to open, click new. I'm going to go ahead and open one up that's already done. We'll click edit. It's got a title, a transfer amount. We're asking to transfer from this division to this division, the current GMP division total, the revised GMP division, and the reason for the transfer. Okay, you will attach supporting documentation, and then you're going to workflow it. So this one has been workflowed already, but you guys get the picture of selecting the workflow. You're going to select intra-project transfer and start the workflow. The PM is going to review it, they'll ask questions, and then they will take action whether they're going to pass or cancel it. So I'm going to open this up for questions now. Thank y'all so much. I know we've gone through a lot in this one. Does anybody have any questions? This is being recorded, and you will be able to access all the information, on and review this video again on ProjectTeam.com/DGS. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to close this out. I thank you so much for your patience, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.